right, he did it. He did it. He did the damn thing. Vaush done did it. He upset the stoners, and I'm one of them. I'm livid. I'm mad. Idiot. All right. So Vaush made... Well, this isn't actually Vaush's video. This is someone else doing it. I'm sure the Vaushites know exactly whose channel this is. Thermia, I don't know. I don't watch... I honestly do not watch Vaush content. I do tend to agree with Vaushers and the Vaush. The thing I think I tend to disagree with most is, like slurs type shit, like R slur stuff, which I don't like to use. But, I mean, it's not my community. I think that's pretty much usually where we disagree. Although, lately he's said some things I don't really pay attention that I think I probably also disagree with. I think the Houthi thing I probably disagree with, although I didn't really watch it and don't care enough to get into the nitty-gritty on that. The thing we're talking about today, though, is something I disagree with, and you'll have all the context you need. Vaush argues with chat about weed addiction and bans angry chatter. So, this is just an 8-minute clip of, I assume, a live stream the other day. I don't know what the volume is on this.
It is impossible.
Okay, let's do it a little bit lower. So, I don't know what they were talking about, but now they're talking about weed or something.
It is impossible for me to describe how little I trust people who habitually use drugs. Vaush, it feels bad when you say that because I'm legit trying to get off drugs. Yeah, so wouldn't that mean that you're Wait, why? Wait, why? Wouldn't it be the opposite? Wouldn't you feel bad about that if you were trying to get on drugs and I was condemning drug use?
All right. So, not trusting someone because they do drugs seems strong. This seems to come from, in my opinion, kind of a classist mindset. I understand that maybe he would reject that and be like, no, it doesn't. But I hear this from rich people, usually, like people that grew up rich, way more than I hear from poor people. This is an anecdotal experience. I don't know if that's 100% true, but it feels pretty true. Like, oh, well, we don't keep that's just not, it doesn't, maybe we do it for fun every once in a while, but it's not in our neighborhoods. We don't keep it, it's not around our kids, I grew up in the country, man. Shit's super normal. It's normal. It's fine. You normalize drinking. I agree. I think he would say, and you don't think an alcoholic is like a fucking trustworthy. I mean, I don't think being an alcoholic necessarily affects your trustworthiness, or being a drug addict about anything, or just someone who isn't addicted to drugs and just habitually uses drugs. Obviously this could mean a lot of things. I'm sure people are going to mention Adderall, fucking you've done drugs, don't you drink or something? So I think that's going to happen. He argues with Chad in this, right? So
that's good. I thought
he's literally done drunk streams, yeah. So, and he'll say, I assume, then I'm guilty of that.
Smoked on the rank? No, I never smoke. I drink sometimes, and I have a lot of coffee. Vaush, shaming people doesn't help them get off. If I wanted them to get off, I would jerk them off, okay? If I wanted to make broad statements saying that I don't trust habitual drug users, I would make broad statements saying that I don't trust habitual drug users. I'm not...
Yeah. It just sounds like someone who... That's not really part of his culture that much. He doesn't experience people using drugs a lot. Or if they do, they're like prescription abuse or something. And so it makes him distrust them because typically his interactions in the past as a man of wealth have been with drug users, usually probably not going to be as wealthy, and they're more likely to steal stuff from you when you're a rich guy and they're poor. Not necessarily just from you, but from your community and thereabouts. You're going to experience more, the lower class is going to try to take things from the upper class. And so I could understand why someone would have this view. For me, drug use is like a pretty normal part of people's experience. I would say that some drug users are absolutely more untrustworthy. I would say specifically like heroin, opiate addiction, that kind of stuff makes people pretty desperate because, it takes the pain away and then it gives the pain when it's gone after they get addicted to it. And it's pretty hard for people. But like, that's like a chemical dependence, and he's saying habitual drug use, which is a different thing, right? And not the claim he's making. He's not saying addicts. He's saying specifically habitual drug use, which would include, of course, like smoking weed and, I guess drinking, maybe other things.
I'm trying to help anyone get off. I'm not talking to a person directly. I'm just saying that I don't. Drugs, the thing that impede the functioning of your brain. Why are you...
I don't... To say that drugs impede the functioning of your brain is definitely a misunderstanding of what drugs do. Drugs change the way your brain operates because they add a new thing to the fucking soup, right? It could impede... Like, overindulgence tends to impede, maybe your motor functions or something along the way and eventually decline. But none of the side effects of drug use involves untrustworthiness. This is a personal thing that you have put on that, which is the pushback you're seeing in chat, and we'll probably see throughout this segment. That's why, because it doesn't lead to untrustworthiness. It may lead to that. Like it may be a factor that causes them to do an untrustworthy thing. That's definitely, you could say that. It increases the probability, technically, of untrustworthiness because sometimes people get addicted or something. Like, yeah, I guess. I guess. Like, I don't know. Being technically true is the best kind of being true, though, right? So
you can say anything to this chat, I swear.
But he's not saying addiction, though. Like, we have to take it to the extreme to steelman his argument here, because he's saying habitual drug use.
Oh my God, dude. Literally anything. Hey, Chad, I've got a banger of a hot take here. Don't you think drugs impede reasoning somewhat? I don't know about that one.
I actually don't know about that one, Vaush. I think some... Like, how much drug use? You went from habitual to, like, drug use as, like, a vague term. So I don't think one hit off a vape is going to impede your functioning, actually. I think it will, in many ways, maybe improve your functioning, depending on what's going on, man. A little stressed. But, like, man, drink so much coffee. Right? You're literally on caffeine. Caffeine is a deeply addictive drug. I love a caffeine. I have a coffee right here. I don't really drink a lot of coffee, and I didn't drink it on time, so it kind of got watery, but it's fine. I need caffeine. Weed can snuff out my irrational anxieties. Yeah, I mean, it's not just, like, weed stuff, because yes, I'm a stoner, but, like, a glass of wine isn't going to impede your fucking reasoning to any significant degree whatsoever. And in a lot of cases, people use it to, kind of wind down and help them focus. How many writers just sit there in a drunken, but they're being very effective. Their functioning is working. I tell you what, weed definitely improves my creativity from time to time. If I ever have writer's block, I usually walk away and I go do something else, and we'll come back and we'll get high and we'll sit with it. And it works pretty much every time, at least a little bit. But that said, like, there's no fucking way you can just say, like, it definitely leads to untrustworthiness. It just means, like, you have this problem. And he said that's what he said, so he'll be like, yeah, this is just a me thing, man.
Vaush, I feel like that might be problematic. I feel like that might be ableist. I feel like that might be a little bit retarded. Is it though, chat? Is that the thing that I said? Is it retarded? Yeah. So that's why you hate musicians? Unironically. Weren't you high when debating someone back in 2019? Yeah, I stopped smoking about 3 years ago. But yeah, I was high back then. You've done several drug streams? Yeah. Have you noticed any impairment to my reasoning when I do them? Have you?
But does it make you untrustworthy? That's different. To say doing lots of drugs impairs my reasoning wouldn't be the hot take. No one's arguing that drugs can lead to impairment. Like, that's not the hot take. The hot take you said is that people are disagreeing with in droves, is that it makes people untrustworthy. Were you less trustworthy? I don't really think that makes you less trustworthy at all. And if, he's probably, you're in a spot now where it's like, yeah, I would be less untrustworthy in that scenario. And it's like, how would you be less untrustworthy, Vaush? In what ways would you become less trustworthy under the influence? That's fucking weird.
If you noticed a correlation, perhaps, between me being drunk on stream and me dedicating 90 minutes of that stream to making jokes that I don't have a water sports kink. Like, what do you want from me? How's the Adderall shortage going? Brutal, as always. Your alcohol stream's the funniest ever, though. Yeah, being drunk is super fun. I'm a happy drunk. Always happy when I'm drunk and horny. Yes, but only
Cringe.
when you're drunk. I don't distrust you as a person when sober because you've been drunk in the past. Dog, are we really doing this? I said habitual drug users, as in people who use them frequently. People who frequently use drugs, either because they have an addiction or because they're seeking the escapism. I have reasons to distrust both. If you don't distrust either of them, you're an idiot. It's okay to be those things while also distrusting them. For example, you could fairly say that you distrust people who are overly, like, chauvinistic as a joke. You can...
Those are not the same thing. One is an ideology and the other one is a person fucking, I don't know, smokes cigarettes every day or something. Like... I don't distrust a cigarette smoker more than a fucking non-smoker. And they're addicted. They're habitual. They're chemically addicted. But I don't distrust them more. It doesn't make any sense. So, yeah, I guess addiction is lumped in now. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, this is a bad argument. And it literally just has to be... The only argument you can make at this point is, well, I personally have reasons to distrust these people, which is what he said. And that's how I feel. But now he's saying, no, actually, if you don't also feel that way, then that's just you're the dummy. And that doesn't make any sense to me, man. I don't have there's nothing that you have said that has supported the argument that it makes people untrustworthy. It's just that you feel that they're untrustworthy. You're like, well, yeah, I mean, it seems self-evident that they're untrustworthy. Why? What? How?
Say that about me. That's fine. Stop pretending that there's no reason to say that with regards to drugs and reasonability, okay? Why does everyone get offended by everything that I say? You realize you could just go any other fucking leftist online who are all pissing themselves and shitting themselves nonstop trying not to offend their fucking piss crybaby audience, you know?
Maybe. I don't know about... I mean, I don't think that's us. I don't think he's talking about us either. There's definitely some communities, though. Those exist. There's some woke scoldy areas, but this isn't what's happening here. You're not being woke scolded by no one's like, oh my god, you've offended me. No, you're just wrong, man. You're just wrong on this one. Is this what starts it? Is this what starts the fucking finally now even I have fought Vaush. We have been on good terms. But you drew first blood. Man, this is just dumb though.
This is the one place, this is the only place where we can be cool and chill and normal.
I don't feel like you're being cool, chill, or normal. You're not chill if you're like, yeah, people who do drugs, they make me have anxiety. I am anxiously awaiting their betrayal as they... Wow, he's strawmanning me now. I mean, what are you worried about then? What distrust? What are you worried about from a trust standpoint in regards to your average cigarette smoker, your average weed smoker, your average alcoholic, your average fucking caffeine guy, Adderall enjoyer? I don't know, man. Chill space. I don't know. I think I have pretty chill vibes. We have a little bit different. We have a different kind of fun here, though, chat. I make less money. That's for sure. I know I have some Vaushers in chat, though. I've seen some of them in the chat before. And, of course, I get the occasional Vaush raid.
Please, God. Everything. It's drugs and music, okay? We need to add to a list of stuff that I can't bring up. Vaush, I trust weed heads, but I don't trust like alcoholics. Yeah, that's true. Alcoholics are probably less trustworthy on average than weed heads by a pretty significant margin.
And the reason is specifically the chemical dependence that alcohol places on them versus the lack of one in the weed smoking, and that's where it is, right? So we're going with chemical addiction versus like habitual shit, right? So but there's a distinction to be drawn there because it's not because they're just shittier people. They're not just shitty, right? And I am the child of two alcoholic parents. I said the other day they were both battling alcoholism, and then I said, well, one lost, and Sarah laughed from across the house. One did in fact lose his battle. That's Ghost Dad, everyone. He's a ghost. And I don't know, man. I just don't think that. I don't think that makes them inherently less trustworthy. I think it definitely could harm their trustworthiness as a chemical addiction sets in, but that's like a different thing from the habitual use we were talking earlier. Also, I freezed on picking the nose, which is funny. This should have been the screenshot I shared on Twitter, but it wasn't because I didn't really scrub that hard. I literally clicked around and went, okay, that one. Vaush is conceited most of the time, makes him hard to listen to. Yeah, I don't watch Vaush, not because of any sort of prejudice. I don't watch anybody, so it's actually because I'm just a normie. I'm secretly a normie, chat. You know that. You've all known this. I'm a jock. I'm a sports guy. I play D&D. I'm a normal little fella. All right. Anyway, he can do more things, but I agree. I mean, the tone he's taking here is like, well, of course they're fucking mad at you, man. I don't know. How does this happen to him? Why is he always arguing with his chat?
Vaush, why if they don't steal or act abusive when high, what's the issue? God fucking damn it, dude. Come on. Apply some critical thinking.
Let's do it.
Can you think of any possible issues with habitual drug use? Just any, like hypothetically. Just how about we put to use some of the faculties that we've developed during the stream, during the time that we've spent together, and you could think possibly, what about the habitual use of a chemical that impedes brain functioning?
It doesn't impede brain function. That's such a fucking straw man of what drug use does not have to impede your brain function. Like if you are getting it to the point where weed would impede my brain function is pretty far. You can you can do a little bit of weed smoking. You can do a little bit. If you're getting, I would agree. I mean, I think it goes beyond habitual if you're getting fucking the equivalent of brown out drunk every night or something, right? Like, we're not just using some habitual drugs. We're fucking abusing drugs. Habitual use is not abuse. These are vastly different. And drugs encompass such a wide array. Right. I assume he's saying weed and alcohol and equivalent, right? Habitual drug use. Yeah, this is bad. Bull a dog. Every chat has a guy who's just like, streamer and chat, don't yell at each other. That's just not the ecosystem we live in, chat. Streamer will yell at chat sometimes, and chat will yell at streamer. It's the natural order of things.
Might mean theoretically, about a person or about what they do or how they act. Just could you fill in the blanks? Do I have to explain all of it?
So I love just leaving that open and essentially like begging the question, sort of, and also poisoning the wells. I mean, like you just sort of have to float out like, well, you guys know stereotypes about drug users, fill in the blanks, dudes. Fill in the blanks, my dudes. And it's like, well, that's not really a quality argument either. Well, don't you? He keeps appealing to like people's the self-evidentness of what he's saying.
You can like the most. This reminds me of that email I got where I said you shouldn't do crack in a subway, and a person emailed me being like,
if his argument was a lot of weed users are dishonest about their relationship to weed, I think that'd be okay. But I think most adults are pretty honest with their relationship to it. At least that I know. That's like it's legal here, I guess, right? So like people smoke it. It's yeah. I know some people that are absolutely, in denial about all sorts of shit, but it happens.
I want to debate you on how it's problematic of you to have said that you can't do crack.
I mean, you shouldn't drive high if you're like particularly impeded by it, but like I would say if I had to choose between the exact amount of people who drive drunk versus the exact amount of people who drive high, and I could just make every drunk person be high and have smoked the joints equivalent of whatever they drank, I would choose weed every time. It's just less impeding towards your equilibrium and motor functions. It could definitely lead to accidents, though. I don't suggest smoking weed and driving. I'm just saying, like, they're not equivalent, and it's, it's It's by a wide margin. Like, alcohol actually fucking poisons you and makes you, like, see funny. Weed can make you see, you can be like this, but, like, man, you gotta smoke some fucking weed or just not be used to it. If you don't smoke weed a lot, I certainly wouldn't suggest doing anything. But, I've been tipsy and drunk and blackout and all of them. Absolutely more disorienting than overdosing on weed was ever. I had a full-on... I've greened out on weed before because someone gave me too many edibles and didn't tell me. Always let people know the doses they're taking. Anyway, so I got poisoned and didn't know I was taking as much weed as I was taking, and hot flashes and panic attacks. It's 45 minutes of not feeling good and feeling kind of icky, and then it was over. I've also been blackout drunk. That's an hours-long ordeal that will carry over into the next day by a long shot. Like, it's just not even close to the same. Like, I cannot move, cannot see, cannot do anything blackout drunk, dude. Like, I'm just fucking puking. Laying on the ground. But fucking greened out, I ate barbecue after, bro. I felt better after a little bit, and I literally finished my barbecue. We ordered barbecue that night. It was a great bro day. Anyway, so that's all to say that I wouldn't distrust you more if you smoked some weed or drank a little bit.
The subway. Crack users have rights too, and where else are they supposed to do it?
Crack. We're on crack now? I agree opiates are bad. Opiates, not necessarily going to make... those still don't necessarily make you untrustworthy. But I could see how, if we're going like, well, people who habitually use crack, there's some untrustworthy people. It's like, okay, sure. Still rings classist, though. Still rings classist. Like, yeah, have you ever known anybody? How many people have you known to, like, fucking OD on this shit? I had lots of classmates and shit growing up doing this shit. They weren't necessarily untrustworthy. They were just fucking hurting, man. They just needed help. They just needed fucking healthcare.
Vaush, you're just really fucking weird on this topic. I've known many people who smoke and they're perfectly fine, functional people. Yeah, including you, according to you. The only reason you'd be acting this way is if you were defensive. The idea of...
The only reason you'd be acting this way is you were defensive, man? Come on, dude. That's such cope. That's incredible amounts of cope. The only people in here are going to be defensive. I guarantee you there's people who are dead-ass sober who don't have this take. Like, said the defensive guy being right, yeah, this is stupid. I told you, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard him say. Like, consecutively, I keep disagreeing with everything he's fucking saying. Like, sometimes he has, like, a bad take, and part of the take will be bad, but, like, just every part of this argument is stupid.
Habitual use of drugs can make a person untrustworthy. The idea that this is even remotely controversial to you is demonstrative of a problem in your brain, okay? Are you high now? Like, seriously, come on. Jesus Christ.
Are you high now, bro? Dude. Yeah. Absolutely getting rolled by his chat.
Like, you realize how you sound, right? This is like...
Yeah, how they sound. Okay, dude.
I knew an aunt who smoked for 30 years and never got lung cancer. I have a friend who drinks all the time.
What does lung cancer have to do with trustworthiness? Hello? Are you high? What?
Like, what argument are you making? What are you even saying? What are you saying to me right now? What words are you using? Is this English? Are you using English right now? Is this a different language? Is this Portuguese, the fake version of Spanish? What are you saying? There's always going to be some...
Is that a bit? We're doing a Portuguese bit?
Want to chat?
Try to break the tension?
Interpret whatever you say as a personal attack no matter what because it happens to hit their particular anxiety. Yeah, fuck, that's always it. It's always people who can't... It's a sign of low self-esteem because I can disagree with people, but when people... Like, when I watch live streamers and they say some shit I disagree with, I never think I'm being attacked. I never think that, even if it's my shit. And, like, I...
I feel like this is projection. Why? I didn't feel personally attacked. What? And believe me, I smoke weed with this chat. many days out of the week. I will do that. I am definitely a habitual weed smoker for sure. But I wasn't butthurt about this. I think you're wrong. I think it's silly. I'm not mad. Some people in chat might be mad. I don't know. It's not really my vibe though. You're just wrong, man. I don't know. I think this is a deeply emotional argument. And who hurt you, bro? Who stole from you, dude? Do you have bad experiences with drug users? Do you want to talk about it? Do we need to have a therapy session about the bad drug users that we've experienced? Talk about it if you want. Man, I had a pretty toxic ex that used to get way too drunk. Talk about that. I'm sure some of the people in this chat felt attacked, but a lot of them just seem to disagree, and that makes him feel attacked. Right. Yeah. It seems this is just bad arguments.
I deal with that a lot, too, because I have plenty of extremely strong interests and disinterests. So it's not as though I'm not easy to, like, be disagreeable towards, at least by my definition. But I never interpret it as a personal attack. But a lot of people get really upset because they're like, oh, no, you know? Like, I personally have to correct this injustice that has been committed against me. But in this case, like, come on, man. Habitual drug use, untrustworthiness? Come on.
Yeah, it's just not correlative. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. You'd have to, I mean, if you said, like, a different thing, you might be starting to head towards Rightville. But instead, you're in wrong town, buddy. I don't feel attacked. He could have fooled me. I mean, he started yelling in his chat. I don't know. Seems a little defensive, in my opinion. But, you know, I just got here.
Vaush, you keep saying drugs, but that includes caffeine and prescription medications.
Yeah, it does.
Well, technically, food is a drug. You know what I mean. Habitual, like, brain substance altering. Come on.
Caffeine affects the brain. This is why he bailed out of what he was saying, because all of those things affect your brain, obviously, and they affect your mood, obviously. Fuck. There's a reason that you have a bad day if you don't have caffeine. It affects your mood. Sugar affects your mood. Fucking definitely the ADHD drugs affect that shit. They will all change your cognition. Yeah, this is stupid.
Come on, please.
No, you're trying to appeal to a common sense that is not a thing. You don't have this common sense on your side.
Can you not, like, respond to your own caveats with what you assume I will see? I just think Vaush is being a combative asshole. Well, yeah, that's the brand. And also me. You know, you ask my parents about that. But at the same time, like, yeah. This, like, I guess, man, I don't know. The cope is what makes me worry, dude.
The cope is what you're doing. The cope is what you're doing. Yeah, man. I'm very happy for his success. I'm glad that there's a lefty out here saying lefty things. And I'm fine if there's an edgy lefty every once in a while. It's fine. I think he's better than, say, a Caffel, for instance. But this is like... this is definitely the dumbest shit. This is just a bad take, man. My marijuana has improved my depression and feelings of anxiety. Right. I mean, anecdotally speaking, a lot of people have, and also, I mean, there's studies that show, improved mental health through regular use of marijuana and stuff, and it doesn't harm their cognition. I'm sure that if you abused any of these drugs habitually, that it would. I'm not cool with Keffels. I'm not opposed to a Keffel. Here's the hot take about Keffels. The Keffels hot take is that I think that she tries very hard to have a drama happen. You know, she's just constantly trying to do that, which is fine. You know, that's the kind of thing she wants to do. It certainly drives engagement and does the clickies and things. It's a little corny for my ass. Yeah, very hot take, as you can see. Very, very divisive in chat that Keffels likes to involve herself in drama. But that said, I mean, I'm fine. You know, it is what it is. People out here gonna do their content how they want to do it, and a lot of the time they're gonna do that kind of stuff. Yeah, I don't watch any of the content either. I just see what I see on Twitter, essentially. Wouldn't mind drama if it didn't result in harassment and doxing. I mean, that's what it always ends up in, pretty much.
If you're super into weed or whatever, fucking fine, you know? But then there are people who will be like, actually, there's nothing wrong with smoking weed 6 times a day. That's not an addiction. Addiction isn't when you have to smoke weed before you do literally anything. It's just like, dude, it's cool, whatever. The cope is what bothers me. Like,
so now we're going to an extreme use case to try to justify the broad thing we said, which applies to things that don't only meet the criteria of this extreme use case, right? Like if you smoke 6 joints a day, that's a lot to me, and you know, I smoke a decent amount of weed, I think. That would be habitual overuse, which isn't just like fucking habitual use. So like, do you mean something different, man? What's habitual to you? Like, habitual once a day? I think once a day is pretty habitual. In fairness, it makes sense to argue, but I can tell you're a Vausher. It makes sense. I'm going to read this in a way that you wrote it like this, okay? That's your fault. I'm not making fun of you. This is just the accent that's in the text. In fairness, it makes sense to argue by hyperbole and then scale back the rhetoric to a general claim, though that's not what he's doing here. No, I mean, like, I understand the rhetorical thing that you can do here, but it's stupid. I appreciate it. I agree with you. I appreciate your contribution. I'm actually not making fun of you. I'm kind of making fun of him because I think that is how he's thinking here. It is very stupid. Like, if it was an important conversation, it would be fucking slimy, dude. But, I mean, it's just a stupid conversation where he's wrong. It just, like, it doesn't track backwards towards his original claim. It's faulty. You're wrong. This is an emotional argument, Vaush.
if you use drugs, if you're like if you like coke or whatever, meth or some shit, I don't fucking care. I'm not your mom, you know. But then when people in chat are like, why would you say that habitual drug use makes
you good for me,
a person untrustworthy?
I want you to talk like that. Actually, I went to, when I was in college and took philosophy class, there was a couple kids that were quite formal like that, and I appreciate it.
Like, if you say that, you just don't have much experience, I guess, with the effects
I like the
that
philosophy
drugs have
guys,
on
dude.
people at any level. And no, by drugs, I do not mean like, oh, this person takes 5 milligrams a day of Adderall or like some caffeine. I mean, drugs, in many cases, are literally addictive, which can, you know, impede a person's reliability when it comes to...
So do you mean addicted to drugs, then? Why would you say habitual use? So now, he just... It's like when he's got to talk himself into the new fucking spot he wants to be because it's obvious he can't keep the same position. He's got to be walked off it.
Basically every level of their functionality because it impedes their brain functions and it makes them feel worse and it makes them do stuff to get like the high or whatever, you know?
It makes them feel worse and do stuff to get the high or whatever. a deeply illuminating... like a spotlight onto the experience of your average addiction. He said addict's way earlier. He did, but then he walked it back again to say just habitual use and say, you know, wow, weed smoking guy. And now he's walking back the weed smoking thing, so it's whatever. He's building those legs. Dude, he's got his thigh day. Thigh day, picking up the goalpost, moving it around. It happens. It happens. Am I addicted to weed if I smoke regularly, but I am also totally fine when I don't have it for weeks? That is interesting. So my view on weed is that when done in moderation, I definitely go hard sometimes for like bro day when the boys are over, or maybe we'll do like a particularly smoky smoke check, or it's the 420 subathon. But for the most part, you know, I usually wait till later in the day. I don't wake and bake. I feel like if you wake and bake every day, I don't feel like this, actually. It's just true about how your tolerance works. You know, you're not going to get high every day and actually have it do what it's going to do because your tolerance is going to go too high. If you wait till the end of the day, it tends to be a lot better. That's why I smoke with you guys, essentially. My tolerance is pretty high, but I mean, I smoke with you guys at night. Isn't addiction medically defined as not being able to exist without the thing? I don't know. Let's see. Medical addiction definition. Addiction is a treatable chronic medical disease involving complex interactions among brain circuits, genetics, and the environment. Brain circuits. And an individual life experiences people with addiction. Clear language and terminology in medicine is critically important. So, if you archive definition, so this is no, that is their definition. Okay. Okay, so they gave definition and methodology. That's what I was reading. Background, and then this is the definition. Addiction is a treatable chronic medical disease involving complex interactions among brain circuits, genetics, and environment, and an individual's life experiences. People with addiction use substances or engage in behavior, or addiction use, not use. People with addiction use substances or engage in behaviors that become compulsive and often continue despite harmful consequences. So, prevention efforts and treatment approach for addiction are generally as successful as those for other chronic diseases. So it's essentially this. Addiction is the use of substances or engaging in behaviors that become compulsive and often continue despite harmful consequences. So you have to develop compulsivity. 10 minutes to say something nice about Vaush? Easy mode. I agree with a lot of stuff Vaush says. I don't think Vaush all bad. I think Vaush has some edgy stuff to him that he likes to keep as part of his brand, as he said. But I think he could easily ditch that stuff and be a wholesome little guy. And still, you can be toxic sometimes. I mean, it is what it is. You can be yourself. Be yourself, really. Just don't be whatever you think you're supposed to be. As long as Vaush is being true to himself, I'm fine with it. I agree with him mostly, though. Yeah, by a long shot. So, yeah.
No, it's like, it's very basic stuff. Please avert Vaush, make this argument like 8 times. Yeah. I think it's because most people don't use hardcore drug users, habitual drug users. What term would I use then? How many losers are actually coming at you right now? Most people in chat don't really care and want to move on. That's true. That's probably true. That's true. That's probably true. What does it matter if it doesn't affect or benefits your normal... Okay. Night, we're moving on. God damn you guys. Holy shit. You can lead a horse to water.
Music is my drug. Famously, he hates music. You lead a horse to water? Horse joke?
Water, huh? Matt, I can't take Vaush seriously anymore after he said weed smokers are untrustworthy, Lamau. Don't let the door hit your fucking toasted ass on the way out, you stupid fuck. Go use a third of your disposable income on weed, you stupid fucking... Oh my god. Jesus.
He's mad that they spend money on weed now? Go use a third of... That's not a straw man, by the way. It grows out of the ground. Yeah, you can just grow it, bro.
Christ, they're so defensive. They're so defensive. They're the most fragile people in the world.
What is the defensiveness? I don't understand. Dude, can't believe he came after the weed smokers, Lamau. You're being so defensive. I just didn't read that as defensive. I don't know, man. I feel like Vaush is being way more defensive. How is this not you being more defensive?
It's literally a drug that makes you chill, and you still can't chill the fuck out.
You hear yourself?
Oh my god. I'm enabling. White Nervosa, thank you for this one. The legendary fucking...
White Nervosa blocked me for being an anti-theist, question mark. Vaush is an anti-theist. $1. White Nervosa blocked me for being an anti-theist. Dummy. All I have been doing is saying you're untrustworthy scum and you're all offended?
Generational ban. For you, your children, and 4 generations hence, none of you shall come back to VGG. Go forth. Assuming you'll ever be able to get it up with all the fucking weed you're smoking. Does weed actually make it harder to get hard? I don't know.
You don't even know, man? No, it doesn't. Stop. How? Why are you like this?
Actually, no. I've never tried to fuck while high. I feel like I just get anxious. No, it doesn't.
What? Dude, it's clearly your relationship with this substance. Like, your relationship with this substance specifically makes you weird about it. Hello? Skill issue. True. Raise your hand if you fuck high. I mean, definitely. It's good, dude. Yeah. Everyone knows fucking while high is good. Everybody knows it. Doesn't he live in Seattle? I don't know. I don't care. I thought he was in California, but I don't know. Getting high just makes you fall asleep? Your partner's the most sober person on the planet? Well, it doesn't mean you have to be. Unless it does. And then I have a bone to pick. I masturbated while high once, and it blew my fucking mind. Hell yeah. Good.
Oh, okay, never mind. Then there we go. Then many generations will be prevented. You know, Wienervona's Vaush's Oppenheimer. Yeah, I'm watching with my hollow eyes. You know, the
I agree with the vast majority of Vaush's takes, but I felt I had to unsub to him for his resistance to the R slur. By the way, I occasionally but rarely partake and spend very little on it. Thanks for the 100 biddies. Yeah, I mean, I don't like to partake in the R slurage either. I think I'm subscribed to. I don't ever watch it though. Sarah will watch it though. Sarah watches the Voushes. She'll sometimes yell at him. She'll sometimes agree with him. Mostly she's agreeing. Sometimes she'll be like, God, he just said something stupid. This and Vaush's music take a month or so ago. Well, that was only a month ago? He's had that music take for years. Music is bad. He doesn't like music. He's not a good music listener. Meanwhile, your boy has the right takes on everything. Every single topic. Including music. You guys know the vibes are immaculate for the music, okay? He doesn't like music. I'm serious.
explosions chain across VGG.
All right, so that's the video. Yeah, I just big disagree. I think I said everything I needed to say in that, though. I mean, in a nice quick wrap up for the YouTube video. I mean, I don't hate Vaush by any stretch, but this is real dumb. This is really stupid. It isn't a good argument. It wasn't well founded. It seems to be quite emotional, and due to like a combination of ignorance / like I have bad personal anecdotal experiences with this. You know, that was sort of like Mickey Mouse, but he's fair use now. So actually, Steamboat Willie. I don't trust habitual music listeners. Fucking true, dude. Music is like a drug. Music is like a drug. You guys ever listen to In Rainbows while high? I'll do it to you. Listen to Body Snatchers. Or Nude. Dude, listen to Sufjan Stevens' new album. And Try Not to Weep. So good. Anyway, you could smoke weed. Actually, we should smoke some weed. Here we go. Before we leave. All right, hey, if you are watching the YouTube video, smoke check. End of the video.